Welcome to this explainer. Today we're going to decode the ancient epic of Mahakal, and we're going to uncover its profound psychological metaphors for us modern devotees. We're exploring a story that took place thousands of years ago, but I promise you, it carries lessons that are absolutely crucial for how we navigate our own lives, our own egos, and honestly, our inner peace today. So, I want you to think about this. What actually happens when absolute, unchecked power meets unbreakable, quiet faith? Well, let's dive right into that question by traveling all the way back to ancient Avantika. We're going to witness a massive cosmic clash between terror and devotion. Basically, we're looking at what happens when the loudest, most aggressive force in the room collides with the quietest, most unshakable inner conviction. Section 1. The Rise of Ego, Dushan's Ambition. Because, to really understand the light, we first have to understand the shadow that threatened to completely consume it. According to the source texts, Dushan was an asura, or a demon, living in a dark cave up in the harsh rocks of the Ratnamala Mountains. But here's the thing. Rather than just being a literal, scary monster, Dushan really represents the ultimate embodiment of unchecked ego. Even though his initial powers were kind of limited, his mind for sure wasn't. The guy was driven by this insatiable hunger for expansion. He literally dreamed day and night of conquering not just the nearby lands, but the entire earth. He wanted the whole world to just bow right at his feet. And it gets worse. His arrogance quickly led to a literal reign of terror. To get what he wanted, Dushan actually performed years of severe penance to Lord Brahma, surviving extreme weather without even flinching. When Brahma finally showed up, Dushan demanded power equal to the Tridev, the Supreme Trinity. Brahma reluctantly agreed but gave him one massive warning: do not misuse this power against the devotees of Shiva. But of course, fueled by his newly inflated ego, Dushan just laughed it off. No way was he going to listen. He instantly transformed his dark cave into a golden palace, summoned an army of thousands of dark warriors, and just unleashed absolute havoc. People actually started calling him Kal, meaning death or time itself. And since his ego couldn't handle anyone worshipping the divine instead of him, he violently banned all spiritual practices, rituals, and prayers across everywhere he conquered. All right, moving to Section 2, Faith Against External Adversity, the Brahmin Brothers. Yet even amidst all this terrifying darkness in the captured city of Avantika, a beacon of unwavering faith somehow remained. While entire kings were surrendering without even lifting a weapon, just out of pure terror, true resistance was brewing in the absolute most unlikely of places. And this brilliantly illustrates our core conflict here. You've got the immense, noisy, external power of Dushan, juxtaposed right up against the quiet, unyielding internal faith of the Brahmin brothers who were living right under his nose. On one side, it's an empire built entirely on fear, weapons, and just blinding arrogance. But on the flip side, you have a fortress built quietly of devotion, absolute surrender, and deep spiritual practice. Just 4 guys. It's actually astonishing to think about. Just 4 completely unarmed brothers ignored Dushan's constant death threats. They just kept doing their daily rituals, proving that true faith literally cannot be intimidated, not even by an entire army. Even when Dushan's soldiers explicitly ordered them to permanently stop worshipping Mahadev, the brothers didn't flinch, not even a little bit. They calmly but firmly told the soldiers to get out of their ashram. They just had this deep inner knowing that where there's true devotion, unrighteousness simply cannot stand for long. So when Dushan caught wind of this defiance, oh man, his ego felt violently insulted. He was furious. Even a heavenly voice from the sky, an Akashvani, warned him to stop, but his arrogance completely blinded him. He actually thought, hey, if I'm as powerful as the Trinity, why should I fear them? So he storms their ashram, sword raised, ready to slaughter them. But the brothers, they just calmly stood their ground. And that act of ultimate surrender, it triggered an immediate explosive cosmic intervention. Which brings us to Section 3. Mahakal destroys the ego, the ultimate collision. This is it. This is the exact moment the illusion of the ego meets absolute reality. As Dushan swung his sword, the earth literally split open right between them with this deafening roar. Right out of the depths of the fractured ground, amidst swirling dust and blinding flames, Shiva emerged in his most terrifying, destructive form, Mahakal. He let out a roar that shook the heavens and made the underworld tremble. Dushan, the demon who arrogantly called himself Kal, was now standing face to face with Mahakal, the eternal one who is entirely beyond time and death itself. Dushan desperately tried summoning millions of warriors through his boons, flooding the battlefield with dark forces. But it was no use. Mahakal's trident instantly shattered the demon's vast, ego-driven armies like fragile glass. It was this cosmic dance of destruction where, no matter how many illusions Dushan summoned, they were effortlessly wiped out by a single strike of divine light. You see, Dushan's power was external, it was borrowed. But Mahakal's power, that was absolute and it was eternal. Section 4. Symbolism of the Holy Ash. Ego reduced to nothing. The end of this battle reveals the true core spiritual lesson of this entire explainer. The end of ego is always in ashes. Seeing his armies totally decimated, a furious Dushan charged directly at Mahakal. But with just a single glance of blazing divine fire, Mahakal didn't just defeat Dushan, he burned him completely to ash. It's such a poignant, powerful reminder. No matter how vast our arrogance gets, no matter how much wealth or status our ego stubbornly hoards, it ultimately all reduces to absolute nothingness. And here's the real game changer. By smearing this holy ash on himself, Mahakal visually declares his absolute eternal triumph over the ego. He didn't just leave those ashes on the battlefield, right? By adorning his own body with the remnants of Dushan, Mahadev sends a timeless message. The divine consciousness forever masters and neutralizes the ego. So when we see the holy ash used in Mahakal worship rituals today, it's not just a prop. It's a profound spiritual reminder to burn away our own arrogance before it consumes us. Moving into Section 5, the sacred Ujjain Jyotirlinga, Ujjain's divine light. So the dust settles, but the spiritual legacy of this epic confrontation remains strongly anchored in our physical world today. Following this massive cosmic event, the brothers' plea for eternal protection forever transformed the ancient, peaceful era of Avantika into the sacred, modern city of Ujjain that we know today. After Mahakal calmed down, those four brothers bowed in deep gratitude. But they knew the world was full of recurring threats, so they prayed for him to stay permanently to protect their city from any future invasions or demonic forces. Highly pleased with their pure devotion, Mahakal manifested a Jyotirlinga, basically a breathtaking, radiant pillar of divine light. He promised that as long as this Jyotirlinga stood, the city would be protected from external threats. And guess what? This very spot is the globally revered Mahakaleshwar Jyotirlinga in Ujjain today. It still draws millions of devotees who are seeking that exact same divine protection and inner peace. Section 6. Cultivating your inner strength, modern applications. So how do we actually apply the lessons of this ancient myth to our modern everyday lives? Because let's be real, these stories aren't just history, they're psychological blueprints. Through the example of those Brahmin brothers, we can cultivate inner strength in 3 really powerful ways. First, we've got to maintain our faith when the Dushans of our modern world, stress, toxic environments, fear-mongering, when they try to intimidate us, we have to hold our ground. Second, we have to recognize when our own ego is trying to play God and consciously let go of that arrogance before it totally consumes us. And third, above all else, we must remain fiercely consistent in whatever our positive daily practice or duty is, completely unfazed by all the external noise. So if your ego were burned away today, what unbreakable truth would remain in the ashes? I really want to leave you with that final provocative thought to ponder as you reflect on the timeless, transformative lessons of Mahakal. When we strip away all the titles, the pride, and that obsessive need to control everything around us, what core part of you is actually eternal? Thank you so much for exploring this fascinating source material with me today.